During my early childhood in particular, I suffered through many nightmares per week, sometimes once or twice per night. They would most commonly start off as normal dreams, often featuring adventures or war memories, going on for a while, until slowly shifting tone and feel, building up to a traumatizing climax which would tear me away from the dreaming state and fling me into the waking world. Cabous is a dream which reminds me a bit of this. This time, however, I did not go through my own memories, rather someone else's.
I'm back where it all started. I never really left. I've been trapped in this nightmare for far too long, and I need to break out.
Hearing the thoughts of the memory's owner reminds me of repeating dreams, or rather, repeating nightmares. There is one I remember particularly well, which I would experience every so often, and it would always be exactly the same, even though it would feel like the first time every single time through it. From sitting at a large cafeteria, entering the car in an underground parking lot, and nearing a long bridge where the same dreadful thing would always happen. Only after the nightmare would I find myself trapped in the dark in a mini dream, where I realized that I did in fact dream this same exact thing every so often, before finally allowed to wake up slowly. Jeg drømmer igjen. Stedet ser så mystisk ut. The monument ahead glowed with energy and appeared to fuel various memories while keeping us stuck here.
I need to go back to the past and revisit all the locations I've been to. My grandmother's house, my school, and even that yard. It is really hard to relive all these memories, but I have to, in order to move on.
The sleeping world is often said to not only rest the body and mind, but also to heal. I like to think that dreams sometimes try taking on a role as a psychologist when detecting a troubling past, trying to dig into the memories before allowing one access back into the waking world. Jeg drømmer, men det er noen andre sine minner.
My grandmother's house was so old, most likely constructed in the 50s or 60s, but I've always thought of it as a refuge. When he simply wanted to leave us, we would come to this place and stay for years at times. I'll never forget that day he showed up at my grandmother's house. I was 17 and hadn't seen him in 11 years. I saw him that day for the first time and haven't seen him again for 10 more years.
This feels like a war memory, as it seems to be considered a safe place, free of harm. In my own case, my father left at a very young age, and I do not have any memory of ever meeting any of my parents, although what one does not remember, one cannot miss. I was blessed to have grown up with and be cared for by grandparents.
Det er stille og roligt her. Idyllisk.
The eerie sound of the radio can be enough to fuel a beginning nightmare.
Det høres ekkelt ut.
I had my share of nightmares which featured a creepy radio, where either the radio would malfunction or even summon a demonic creature in the next room, slowly making its way over to me in the dark. So before a nightmare bloomed out of the dream, I decided to be on my way in this so far peaceful dream.
Jeg blir tiltrukket til det strålende lyset.
After extinguishing another energy-filled beacon, the dream could not resist the dark ideas of the mind any longer. A startling sensation echoed like an intruder alarm throughout the synthetic universe, serving as a warning.
Gud, for en ekkel lyd.
Those dark creatures will hunt me down. I should stay out of their sight.
The dream could shift from an emotional dream to a haunting nightmare at any point.
Jeg har en dårlig følelse angående det.
I can only speak for myself here, but while they can present memories, dreams also tend to mess things up. Sometimes things do not make sense, and objects or structures may be placed seemingly at random. Perhaps a building is set in a completely different environment than it originally belonged to. I would not care. My dream told me this was completely normal, and I would believe it, until I yet again would be introduced to the waking world and see through the facade, wondering how I ever believed it to be accurate. These are merely some of the mysterious powers of dreams, and if they are being enforced at this point, only the true owner of these memories may tell.
I remember my mother having restless nights waiting for him to return. And when he did, he smelled like alcohol and simply wanted to sleep. His wife and 3 kids meant nothing to him.
I never knew my father, but not long ago I learned that I in fact have half-sisters. Hearing these memories being narrated reminds me of their stories of our father.
My mother was my superhero. She usually wore a bright smile that could brighten even the darkest of rooms. I never wanted him to be my superhero. All I wanted was for him to be my father.
Judging by the memories so far, the father was not having a positive influence on the memory's owner. but I do sense warmth in this building. There seems to have been a strong connection with the mother, at the very least. I wish both parents were equally loving, as discord will have a much greater impact on children than one might initially think. On the way out, the horse gave me quite a fright. This time, it was merely me forgetting about the play toy's existence and whereabouts, but dreams do have the power to present to me the most innocent element and then tell me that this is scary, be afraid. I would wake up shook and startled, and while not understanding what was so scary about it, the essence of true dread and synthetic terror I felt would linger for a good few moments.
Rar lyd.
Something sounded a bit off from far into the distance, but I disregarded it for now as the weird ambience that can sometimes be heard in dreams.
Drømmer føles noen ganger som en annen planet.
School was never my favorite place to go. I remember feeling happy about my grades just because it made my mom happy. The teachers never answered my questions, and they always thought I was a nosy kid that needed to be tamed. But my mom thought something else. She always told me I was a bright kid and had all the answers to my questions. But the one question she never answered, and I've never dared to ask, was why he left. I guess I will never know.
I can somewhat relate to this. I will probably never truly know myself why my father left, nor what truly happened to my mother. As for school, I keep dreaming about going there fairly often, even as recent as last night. It might sound a bit silly, but these dreams force me to miss classes and never figure out which classroom to go to, and me eventually being disregarded. In reality, I did okay in school, but it was an excessively stressful time of my life where I broke down a lot and I almost did not make it through.
Denne dassen gjør meg litt engstelig.
This is the point where I face one of my childhood fears again.
Nei. Dette kommer til å bli til et mareritt. De er ute etter å ta meg.
I am not unfamiliar with nightmares where a bright light comes at me from the distance and I need to hide and hope it does not find me. I have not had this sort of nightmare for a long time, but it still felt fresh and familiar.
I had to go every day. I was hoping she would wake up one day and see me at her side. But she never did. She left without knowing that I was always there for her. To me, this place has turned into a butcher's shop. A place where all loved ones enter and never leave except to their graves.
It sounded to me like I had entered an elderly home, if not a small hospital. It hits at home to hear the memories speak of a place loved ones go to but do not leave. My grandmother had a heart attack and shortly after numerous strokes and ended up at an elderly home. She was in fact conscious, but it felt like a big part of her had already gone and she was not really present much. Then there was my grandfather, who suffered colon cancer and brain diseases and followed the exact same route. It feels terrible to slowly lose someone close to you, realizing it is a one-way process, and I'm truly sorry to hear as a guest to this memory. I witnessed a large gate splitting the tyranny walls, as if moderating access to heaven. I came to learn that this would allow me to ascend and wake up from a dream, as opposed to violently being cast out of a nightmare.
Ser ut som det kan være en slags kirkegård.
That yard, which was referenced at the start of the dream, appeared to be the graveyard, where the dream let the freed spirits whisper into the wind.
I was filled with rage and felt betrayed. It seemed very unfair of her to leave me this quickly. I've never thought that day would come. I will never laugh with her again, and I'll never hear her voice. I'm sure she's in a much better place now, but I miss her so bad.
No matter how prepared one is for the death of a loved one, even if you know they will perish even within a day or two, when you do receive the message, it will always punch you really hard in the stomach, every time. And I give my deepest condolences to the memory's owner.
Å nei.
I was very close to being both cornered and caught up with, but I managed to flee away from the nightmare stalkers, trying to turn this universe into a night terror.
Å, jeg går omringer. Å, hva er det for noe?
I loved going on beach trips with my mom when I was a kid. She usually took us after having a bad day. I remember rinsing out salty water under the water tank. It was as if I was washing away all the misery he brought us before he left.
The dream once again showed off its magical yet bizarre properties, manipulating objects and turning the chair towards me, as if someone watched me walk away.
Jeg hører de ekkelydene. Men dette gir meg håp.
think I've released all the memories now. I can escape.
Porten åpner. Men der har vi en sånn ufyselige ting.
After the final beacon was touched, a loud shock wave emitted. The large gate had opened.
Jeg blir nødt til å prøve å komme meg forbi.
My beloved child, I'm glad you've made it this far. This means you've been moving forward in the right direction. I've planted a seed in you that grew into a beautiful tall tree, and it will keep growing as long as you live. I want you to know that I was aware of your presence every day. Have no worries, my love, for I am with you.
The mother's voice can be heard, and her message reveals what is often the case: the fact that unconscious patients may in fact be able to listen to and understand conversations around them. The voice and message could very well be coming from inside the memory owner's mind, but it is also possible that the mother's spirit spoke to the memory owner's sleeping mind directly. If I may tell an example, it may be far-fetched, but one of my worst nightmares featured a very scary female that would say a specific sentence with a wicked grin, perhaps old-fashioned and airy, which I have never heard anywhere else. And then I woke up in a panic and full in sweat. I did not think much of this until years later, when my uncle woke up in the middle of the night to his pet birds making a ruckus. Next to the bird cages there was an alleged spirit, and with a female voice she said the exact same sentence. Same house, different floor. When I was told this, I was not sure what to believe, but when my uncle did mention it, I was brought back to the dream I had as a child, and I had a big chill flowing down my spine.
Memories are stored in the universe as butterflies. When you see one, it will trigger a memory of your own.
If you enjoyed this experience and would like to talk more about the subject of dreams and nightmares in games, I recommend checking out the author on Reddit under the name TheCatCaveWithin, particularly their post about nightmares, where I contributed with my own thoughts and where you can too. After this emotional and somewhat creepy dream, I wish you all a pleasant night. Go back to sleep and have some well-deserved sweet dreams. Good night. But wait, this is a repeat dream. I come back every so often. It is only a matter of time before the nightmare consumes me. Oh, night!